Assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you're all fine. Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm doing the full length paper of Computer Science 9618 Theory Fundamental, and the session is October-November 2025, variant 12. So let's start. The first question says that draw one line for each verification method to indicate whether it is used during data transfer or data entry. So we have to identify that it is the data transfer or it is the data entry. So parity byte checking. Parity byte is basically related with the data transfer. Checksum, it is the method which is used for the, again, it is for the data transfer. Visual check is for the data entry. And parity block check is for the data transfer. So this is how we'll solve this. Question number 2, complete the table by describing each term. So here the description, we just need to write the description of the terms that are written over here. So let's see the terms. So first of all is the copyright. Copyright is basically giving the owner the legal right of his intellectual property. So basically it is, the important thing it is the legal right of his intellectual property, or this is giving the owner the legal right of his intellectual property, which is the copyright. Open source. Open source means the software can be copied, all right, and it can be distributed or adapted. This is freely, right? So there is no restriction for the software to not copy or not distribute or not adapt. So all these three things, copying, distribution, redistribution, and adaptation, can be done free of cost. Third is the shareware. Now shareware, one important thing is that shareware gives the user a trial period, all right, trial period with limited functionality until payment is not given, all right. So this is important, that until you will not pay it, you will be given a trial period of use or the limited functionality. Then software license. Software license is that it gives the user of the software the authority to use the software. Use the software under some terms and conditions. So there are some terms and conditions which the user of the software has to follow. All right. Now here the question is, describe the purpose of the code of conduct. Now in this question, you are not asked to you are not asked to define the code of conduct. What the what the problem that came in this question while writing the answer was that the user, the students, mostly they write the features about the code of conduct. They defined the code of conduct. So there was no mark of defining the code of conduct. All right. So what you have to write? The purpose of the code of conduct. Now the purpose can be to create a safe, respectable, and professional working environment employees, number one, and to give a clear outline of what is considered a good practice. All right. So this is how we define the purpose of a code of conduct. Now, what is the next question is, what is meant by the relative addressing? This question was again something that was not taken very clearly by the students in the last held exam in the October 2025 winter. So now here you just need to write a clear understanding. You need to write clearly what is meant by relative addressing. So the very right answer was that the relative addressing, it means that the next instruction to be carried out is offset number of locations away, right, relative to the current address. Now this is current instruction. This is the very refined and very accurate answer of this question, that relative addressing is that the next instruction to be carried out is an offset number of locations away. All right. So this gives a clear understanding. Registers such as the accumulator and the index registers are used in the CPU. Identify two special purpose registers used in the CPU. Do not include the accumulator or the IX in your answer. So the accumulator and IX, other than the accumulator and IX, you can write, there are many other, program counter, or the MAR. MAR is the memory address register. All right. LDM 98 immediate. Now LDM, this offset is immediate, and with the whenever you have the instruction, whenever the opcode is with the hash, that is a number, a constant, so directly in the accumulator will load 98. LDI 101. Now first of all we go to 101 and at the 101 we get 98, which is another address, so we jump to 98, so basically 8 will be loaded here. LDX 100, so 100 plus 2, so this is the address. Now from the 102 we have 32. This 32 is loaded into the accumulator. All right. Now this question, a student buys a new computer. The table shows the specification of the old computer and the new computer. The old computer was 1.8 gigahertz dual core processor. The new computer is 2.3 gigahertz dual core processor, 16 megabyte cache, and 32 megabyte cache. Explain. So this is the difference between the old and the new computer. Now the question here is, why increasing the clock speed and increasing the cache memory will improve the performance of the computer? So now we are going to identify the impact. What impact will come if the clock speed? So the answer is that the clock speed, increasing the clock speed means the processor can perform more fetch execute cycle. All right. And important thing is per second. All right, per second. So what is the impact? So more instructions can be processed each second. So processor can perform more fetch execute cycle per second, so more instruction can be processed each second. So this is the impact with the clock speed. And what is the impact with the cache memory? So it can store more frequently used instructions. All right. And what is the impact? Which reduces what? The need to access RAM by CPU. So CPU will not need to access the RAM for the instructions which are frequently used by the processor. All right. So this is the in this type of a question, unless when you write a statement, you need to provide the impact. All right. So processor can perform more fetch execute cycle per second, so more instruction can be processed. Can store more frequently used instruction, which reduce the need to access. So the effect will also be discussed when you will be explaining something that is asked in the question. The relational database shipping stores data about the ships and company and the containers. The database has the following tables: container and the ship. So this is the container ID and this is the ship ID. Now it says, the question here is that describe the relationship between the two tables, refer the primary and the foreign key of your answer. First of all, we are going to see that what is the relationship. You can see that this ship ID is the primary key. There is a foreign key. It is foreign key here. So this means that the relation between ship and the container is one to many. All right. So we will write this thing in sentence form. The relationship between ship container is 1 to. It is important to write the name of the table in the sequence matching with the relationship type that you are writing. Like if I'm writing one, many, one, so ship is on the one end and many, container is on the many end. All right, so it is important. So you should write like this: one, many, or you can also refer it like this. And the other thing is that you need to refer to the primary and the foreign key. All right, the primary key Primary key, which primary key? Ship ID. Ship ID in the ship table is linked to the ship ID. We don't need to underline it here because it's not linked to the ship ID, which is the foreign key in container. All right, so this is how we explain it. The table container needs an additional field to store the data for the last inspection date. Write SQL script to add one field to the table container to store the data of last inspection of the container, for example, this date. Now we have to make a change into the existing field. So we write the answer as, for whenever we change, we write auditor table. The table name is, which table, in which table we'll add this? In the container. Enter table container and then add, and the field is the, what is the field? The field is the last inspection of the container. All right. Date of the last. So add, so we are adding inspection and the data type, date, and then in the end clearly mention the semicolon. All right. So this is how the field is added in the table container. Write an SQL script to return the number of the containers. Return the number of the containers stored in the database for the ship with the name Caledonia. So here now we need to write the SQL script, but now the script is the DML script that we have to write. So we need to first write that the number of the container. All right, select. Then we have to use the count. Select count. We can write it in. And what is the number of the container? So the field is the container ID. So we'll put here container ID. The container ID and stored in the for the ship with the name from you can see that the with the name stored in the database, return the number of the container. So one number of the container is here and the ship name. So we are actually referring to both table, container and ship. So from we will write, so we have again here two methods, and that is the simplest one is that we write the name of the both tables, like from container, and the other is the ship. And then we move from this and this, where now we can use a clause, and in the where we need to write the link. All right, container dot. Now the link is the basically you have already seen that they both are connected with the ship ID. All right, so container dot ship ID is equal to then ship dot ship ID. All right, and so it is continuing. Now here we need to write the criteria where, and the ship name is, it is a string down here, and in the end we must write the semicolon at the end. All right. So this is how the answer of this part is completed. Describe the purpose of the developer interface in DBMS. So developer interface. So the interfaces. So what the interfaces? These are basically the GUIs. They are used to allow the user to create delete, modify the tables, right? This is what the developer interface does. And then allow user to enter the relationships. So these kind of the things we can do. Alter or set up the relationships. Allow the user to add, to design a report, to add a menu, to inspect the data, to create the metadata. So various things we can write over here. All right. Question number 5. A local area network has 5 computers and 1 switch and 1 server. Characteristics of a LAN. So LAN, the important point. So here we have 2 marks. It covers the small geographical area. Now this point is important. Small geographical area. All right. Means it can be within the building. That means within the building or within a small site. Small distance. All right, this means, but important point to write over here is the small geographical area. Writing this is important. And it is privately owned. By a company. So the company owned it. Each and everything used in this network is owned by the company, is bought by the company. Complete the diagram to show the devices in the star topology. Now it is important that you clearly show how the star topology works. So this computer connected to switch, this computer connected to switch, this computer connected to switch. All right. Also connected to switch. Server connected to switch. This computer is connected to the switch. So they all need to be connected to the switch, all right, in the star topology. So if you connect these computers with the server and connect that server to the switch, it is incorrect. So the central, because in the star topology, the central connecting device is the switch. All right, this point is important. The central connecting device is a switch. Describe how packets are transmitted between 2 hosts using a star topology. How the packets they are. Basically, the sender computer sends the packet the switch. All right, switch, then the switch checks the MAC address on each packet and sends the packet directly to the intended computer. All right. This point is important, that the packet directly to the intended computer. Okay. Now in this answer, if you will not write this directly to the intended, directly word is important. Yeah, or what we can see, we can write and sends the packet only to the intended. You can also write only. This only or directly is important to be mentioned in the answer, only then you get the mark for it. If you see the marking scheme, you will also find this underline. Okay. Another type of the network is a bus network. Ethernet is used to transmit and receive data between the devices on the bus network. Describe how collisions are detected and managed on the network. Now there is a collision. You know, on the Ethernet, whenever we talk about the Ethernet, so the Ethernet collision detection is done by the CSMA. So how collision? The CSMACD, all right, is used. Okay, is used. How are detected and managed? How collisions are detected is used, and so what happened in this use, that the computer or the workstation X the communication channels. Channels mean the wires. And sends the packets data only when there is no data being transmitted. All right. So mean the line is not in use. Okay. Although you can write more, but writing this much is enough to get the 3 marks, because you have written 3 points. So otherwise you can carry on with the same. You could say that if the collision is detected, the transmission is aborted, a jamming signal is sent, the workstation or the computers, they calculate a random time before retransmitting the data, and if the random time is increased, that there are more collisions. So you can write on these points as well. Complete the table by identifying one threat to computer and data security posed by, now here we are talking about threat to the computer and data posed by networks and the internet. Describe the threat and give a method of prevention. So the threat is, for example, now here there can be many threats, like we can talk about the virus. Okay, so here we have how much space. So there are 3 marks means we have to write one threat, like threat. If it is virus, so virus, how we explain the virus, it is you clearly need to mention that it is a malicious code. So virus is actually a malicious code. That can delete data. So virus is a malicious code that can alter or delete data or files. How you can prevent it? By using an antivirus. All right, so writing these three things: one is the threat, one is the description, and one is the prevention. Question number 6. So question 6 says that a sound file is compressed by reducing the sampling rate. State whether this is lossy or lossless compression. Justify your answer. So basically, reducing the sampling rate is a lossy compression. Right? Originally, it is a lossy compression. So basically, when we say lossy compression, so what is the justification? That so for the lossy, it is actually sound file sampling rate. So few samples, there will be taken second. So fewer sample taken per second. So means the data will be permanently lost. Okay. Following diagram table shows some words and corresponding binary values. The following table shows 3 bytes of data that have been received. So what is that word? So how it's very simple. You just need to see that this is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So 32 and 8 is 40 and 56. So this is 56. So 56 is science. So the word received here is science. All right. So the next one is the 1, 2, 4, 4, 8, 16, 4, 8, 16, 32. So this is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 4, 8, 16, 32. So this is 40 and 20 is 60. So it is, science is. And this third word, it is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, it is 10 and it is 20. 10 and 20 is 30, 30 and 30, 62. So 62 is amazing. Science is amazing. So actually the word is science is amazing. All right. Science is amazing. So basically this is the concept of the ASCII characters, or how the characters they are represented in the memory. The C part is the complete the truth. It is using the even parity. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we will have, because it is following the even parity, so 4, the number of ones, they are 4, which is even. So there is nothing need to be placed in this rightmost bit, so we'll put 0 in here. This is the second one is the block parity. So this one is the block parity. It uses even parity. Computer A transmits 4 bytes. Computer B receives the following sequence of the bytes. So it is using the even parity. So even parity is, it means we need to parity bit. First we need to see the rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is correct. 1, 2, 3. So we have even parity is followed. So here is the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is correct. 1, 2. This is correct. So we got a problem in this row. I will move toward the columns. So 1, 2. This is correct. 1, 2. This is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is correct. 1. So this is incorrect. 1, 2. This is correct. 1, 2. This is correct. 1, 2. This is correct. So the other one is this column. So the intersection here, it is This is okay. Circle the bit that has been altered during the data transfer. So we circle this. This is the row 2. The column is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The column is right. A bitmap image has a resolution of 1000 pixels wide, 2000 pixels high. The color depth is 16 bit. The size need to be calculated in the megabyte. So this kind of a question, I usually advise my student to not do the multiplication first, rather do the divisioning first. So, but before that, you need to write it in a proper way. So this is 1000 into 2000. So we have megabyte, all right. So when it is megabyte, it means divide by 1000. And color depth is 16 bit. So we divide it by first 8. Then we have to calculate in the megabyte. So first 1000 divisioning will give us kilobyte. The second 1000 divisioning will give us megabyte. All right. So 8. So this is what I say to my student. I advise you all to do the divisioning first. So 8 and this is 1 and this is 2. This 1000 divides this. This 1000 divide this. So basically we are left with 4. So the answer is 4 megabytes. All right. Complete the calculation using the binary addition. So it's very simple. You just have to add the things. How 1 1 is 0, but do mention the things. 1 1 is 0, carry 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 1 1 is 0, carry. So this is 1 and this is 1. And it is the simple calculation. So this is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and 128 and 64. 4, 8 and 9, so 192. So it has not, so there's not asking to convert. There's no need to do this. So the answer is, this is the answer. All right. A computer uses the Unicode character set. State the number of the bits used to store one character from the Unicode character set. So it can use 8 bits, can use 16 bits, or it can use 32 bits. All right. Although the Unicode uses 1 byte, 2 byte, and your 4 byte. So it is little flexible. The maximum capacity is of 4 bytes. All right. ASCII is another character set. The ASCII value for the character H has the denary this. Write the BCD value of the ASCII character H. Now the denary value is 104. How will we write this in the BCD? BCD means now we need to separate them, and 0, 0, 1, 0. So this is the 4. 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is the 0. And 1, 0, 0, 0. This is the BCD representation of the value H, which is 104. Write the hexadecimal value for the ASCII character H. Now H is 104. So you need to convert it into the so let's take the LCM to identify the, so 16 table, 16 4s are 16 to the 32, 16 4s are 64, 16 5s are 80, and 16 6 are 96, 16 6 are 96, and 8 is left. Okay, then 16 0 and 6 is left. Basically it is 68. All right, now the question number 8. Give 2 benefits of storing data using the cloud computing. Benefit of using the data, storing the data using the cloud computing. So there is no need to, there's no need for personal storage device. And then data can be accessed from anywhere with an internet connection. This is the only requirement for the cloud to be used. Drawback, can only accessed by internet. Can only be accessed by internet connection. If there is no internet, so you cannot connection. All right. Then limited storage availability. Limited storage availability by the companies who provide these cloud storages. All right. So it is without paying. Means if you buy it free of cost, then limited storage availability. To get the more storage, you need to pay. A student uses touchscreen as an input device. Allow staff to select items from a menu. Explain how a touchscreen converts the point of touch for a selection from the. How a touchscreen converts the point of the touch to a selection from the menu. Now we need to define here the touch screens basically. So when we touch, now there are various things. First of all, the touch is to determine the menu choice. So the X and Y the coordinates are used to determine the point of touch. Number one. This is one thing. Then the menu corresponding to the position is determined. So the point where you touched and whose X and Y coordinates they are identified, then its corresponding menu is determined. All right. So that the two or the action to be read out. So we just have written 2 points. Now what we have to write more, how these the screens which are touched, so they can be, the screen can be resistive, means the two layers of material materials make contact. Complete a circuit. Right? And the last point is that if it is infrared, will happen, the beams are broken. Right? Yes. The image files that are displayed on the touch screens have been corrupted. Identify two examples of utility software that could use to recover the images. So one is the backup software. All right, and the other can be the corruption is done due to, so it can be the disk repair, it can be the bad sectors in the disk. All right. So number 9, consider the following logic circuit. Write the logical expression. Now here it is A and the other is B. So A XOR B. So this is A XOR B. And this one is A, B, and C. And this one is then A or B and C. And this is A XOR B and whole not. So now what it become? Basically we will write not A XOR B, and in between is, this is the NAND, and then A or B and C and this. This is how this question is done. Not A or B, B and C and A. All right. All right. Now with the questions B part. The B part. Now we just need to do the interim results, interim working on this expression. Now this is the expression that we have to resolve, and the interim working can be like you need to work on it on a separate rough area. And how can you do that? It's a little you need a little rough work on it. So you just need to first calculate this A and B, and this can be, for example, it can be you can calculate F, then you need to calculate this not A or not C, this can be termed as S, and then this whole can be evaluated to T, and then this T is going to be reversed. All right, so this is how you can apply this. So it's a simple question, and the rows number that we have calculated here, the errors were found in, so you can do it yourself, it's not a very difficult thing. So I'm just going to I'll cut it short and I'll reach to the answer. So the errors were found in row 2, row 4, and then the row number 7. So here the errors were found. All right. Yes. So we'll do it yourself, and then you'll also reach to this, and you can write here 2, 4, and 7. Okay. This is how this simple question can be solved. Now coming to the question number 12. In the question number 12, now programmer is developing computer program, and in this computer program can first, this was a little tricky question in the last year paper, can first use interpreter and then compiler to develop the computer program. And one thing that you all should know is that you must read the question first, understand what is the need, and then you should start writing its answer. If you don't comprehend the question, and if you start writing the answer, this can cause a real difficulty in your marks. All right. So first of all, now a programmer can first use interpreter and then a compiler. So we need to see this when it use the interpreter. So what is the interpreter? Interpreter mean use interpreter while writing the program. This is the key point. Right? Use the interpreter while writing the program. So that, and what will be the outcome? To test the partially integrated program. Alright, so these 2 points for the interpreter is enough. And for the compiler, so you clearly mentioned that the interpreter is used while writing the program, and compiler is use the compiler after the program is complete. Means the errors, they're removed. So you need to use the compiler after the program is complete. Right? And then inside this, what is the outcome? To create an executable file. Right? So this the compiler will do. It will create the executable file once the program is compiled. So you also need to know that the compiler, it repeatedly tests the same section without having to reinterpret every time. So there is no need, you can test on different platforms without needing the interpreter and without needing, and this is the advantage of the compiler. Use the compiler after the program is complete, error-free, and to create an executable file. So after it is compiled, then it creates, normally it can create an executable file, otherwise the compiler usually create an object file. All right, so this is very well explained in your paper 1's theory topic. Now the next question is that the programmer releases the program as a free software. All right, as a free software. What is meant by free software? Free softwares, what the student they usually write means they don't have to pay fee. So this is not actually the matter of free. Free of restrictions. This is important. The free software is free of restrictions. So you have no restrictions on it. And you can write that the software is not necessarily free of charge. Clear this point? Right? One very important point is that the source code comes with the program. This is the important aspect of the free software. All right. So the user can edit the source code and can add his own functionality and can modify it to suit their needs. All right. Next is the question is that a user download the computer program from the internet state. What should be included as part of the download to make sure the program is authentic? So the digital certificate gives us the authenticity of the software. All right. The next question, the question number 11, and that is the last question. An automated system opens doors when a person is detected within 2 meters. Detected within 2 meters, the system closes the door when there is no longer a person within 2 meters. Identify whether the automated system is an example of monitoring or control system. So definitely when it is controlling the doors to open and close, so it is controlled. All right, because the monitoring system has no effect on the outer system, and there's no mark for the monitoring writing this. You just mark as actually for 3 marks is for the justification of your answer. So how you reach to this conclusion that it is a control? Because it uses an actuator to open and close door. All right. So the actuator, you know, these are the motors, these are the mechanical output devices which are used to control something. So this is one reason that you give. Then it also uses it also uses feedbacks. Feedbacks means the output is again taken back as an input from the sensor, or and in a day the door is mostly open, and when in the part of the day the door is not open so frequently, so these kind of the feedback can be given back to the system, and it helps to readjust the criteria used by the processor. All right. Then there is no longer a person within 2 meter, identify whether it is automated system is an example of. So the other point to justify, so view based on this feedback, it can adjust automatically with environment. When the person is not near the door, it will close. When the persons are near to the door, it will open. And if there are many people coming very frequently, it will keep open. So adjustment is there. All right. So what is this point? Basically, the output. I can further elaborate that the output, which is opening of the door. Okay. Output is the opening the doors changes the input. All right. So basically, this is the impact of the feedback on how the door is open and how the door is closed. And as I mentioned it earlier, that the most frequently used time and the less frequently used time. So adjustment accordingly. If many people are coming without any delay, so the use of opening is more, and if a lot time people are not coming, it will keep closed. So these kind of readjustments and automatically changing as per the environment changes. So this is all the evidences of the control system. All right. So this is all for this paper. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.